And you don't have to.
Who are you,
resolution.
Chris God?
A series of drumbeats by this administration, by Dick Cheney, by the
Really?
president, by others.
So the president
clearly
and this
pointing the
administration and
direction.
Cheney are doing the saber rattling to war. Not the Iranians who refuse to let the IAEA in to inspect their weapons. It's not the Iranians who said the Holocaust never existed as an excuse to make Israel illegitimate, the only democracy within that region. That's the president who's doing the saber rattling. Not the Iranians who in 1979 took American hostages for 444 days. Not the Iranians who took 15 British hostages and held them for 3 days and forced them to go on national television and defame their own country.
In Iran. So it was a moment.
Not the Iranians who are sending over men, weapons, and money, funding both sides of a fight, funding the Sunni Al-Qaeda
You have an Iranian
and their Shia local militias. It is the president who is at fault. It is the president who is evil. God forbid, fuck forbid that we militarily, strategically attack their nuclear program.
That was a critical moment, and the
Fuck
wrong
forbid.
decision was made, in my view.
Fuck forbid all.
Do you agree with Senator
Heaven help us if these people get in power.
Well, I think it can be used as a factor.
I think in our continuing war against the president, even though the president isn't running and stuck to his guns despite a
people who voted with her.
20% approval rating, we're going to continue attacking him.
And it's not even about going to war. Let's look at what happened
Not about going to war.
that vote took place. Oil prices went up to $90 a barrel.
93.
Who benefits from that? All this talk of war, all this talk of declaring people
I thought it was a
to
war
be
for oil.
terrorists,
How could it possibly be up to $93 a fucking barrel?
His talk of World War
$93 fucking dollars a fucking barrel. We went to war for oil. I want my money back.
Tim, to be able to move if he chooses.
I must say, as a Halliburton and a President Bush stockholder, I'm not very happy with this war for oil, paying $93 a
That gives
barrel.
him the color of right to move against.
Where are all the oil for
This has
no war for
incredible
oil people?
consequences.
This hasn't really
for
worked out in our
Afghanistan
favor,
and
has it?
Pakistan. Nobody talks about this. The 75 of our colleagues don't understand. We have now driven underground every moderate in Pakistan and in Afghanistan.
That's right, it is the fault of the
This
United States as to what the enemy does.
puts Karzai
We attack them.
as well as
Oh no, they're using this as an
Bashar
excuse
in
to go
jeopardy.
underground.
The notion
Jesus
here
shit,
is
what the
it
fuck do you
plays
want us to do?
into
Not attack them because they may go underground? Fuck you!
Crusade against Israel.
Die in a fire,
This
kill
is
yourself!
bad if nothing else happens.
I hope somebody
On
shoves a
another single
chainsaw up
day,
your ass and
this
rips you
was
straight
bad
through your
policy.
fucking stupid
The
big ass
president had
forehead.
the ability to do
Right
everything
in half.
that that amendment, that resolution called for without us talking to it, and all it has done
I
is
wish
hurt us.
nothing
Even if
but
not
the most
another
horrible,
single
violent
action is
death.
taken. Actions have consequences. Big nations can't bluff.
Senator Obama,
For
let's get
anyone
at this another way. Red
does not
line is
realize
the current expression
the
of the
threat that
moment
is facing
where
this
Iran
country.
is
Why am I
concerned in
stuttering?
Washington. What would your red line be concerning when to, if to, attack Iran?
I didn't vote for the war,
What
and
would
Bush
make
is
it
evil.
crystal clear in your mind the United States should attack Iran?
I don't think we should be talking about attacking Iran
This
at this
great
point for some of the
tactic.
reasons that
This great
Chris
Hillary
has
tactic
talked
of,
about.
well, I don't want to talk about this because I may become president and therefore stealing Giuliani's line. I'm not getting into details. Giuliani had this great tactic in the debate where he said, I'm not talking about the details of attacking Iran. I will say, however, that Iran will not be allowed to have nuclear weapons. Hillary is stealing it when she talks about healthcare, and now Obama is stealing it, saying, I don't think we should talk about it right now because of national security reasons or for whatever. It is a straight rip-off of the Rudy Giuliani
to our allies,
Republican
but also
debate,
talking
and
to our
it
enemies.
doesn't even work, it doesn't
And
apply.
Focusing on those areas where we do not accept
great
their actions,
diplomat,
whether it be
Obama.
terrorism or developing
2 years.
nuclear weapons.
2 years.
But also talking to
Is he
Iran
African American?
directly about
I hadn't noticed.
potential carrots that we can
Wouldn't it be
provide
great
in terms of them
if
being
an African American
in the
would be-
World Trade Organization,
Fuck!
or beginning
Would be
to look
president.
at the possibilities
Doesn't
of
matter what his
diplomatic
policies are,
relations
he's
being
black.
normalized.
If you vote against him,
We
you are
have
a
not
racist.
made
If
those
you vote against
serious
Hillary,
attempts.
you're a sexist.
This kind of resolution
Even though his
does not
ideas
send
are
the right
straight
signal
out of
to the region.
Stalinist
It doesn't
socialist
send the right
Russia.
signal to our allies or our enemies.
Free
And
healthcare.
As a consequence, I think over the long
Free?
term, it weakens our capacity to influence Iran. Now, there may come a point where those measures have been exhausted, and Iran is on the
Measures have
verge
been
of
exhausted, like
obtaining
the
a nuclear
10 years
weapon.
we spent with
Where
Iraq
we have
after
to
he was shooting at
consider
our
other
planes.
options, but we shouldn't
After Resolution
talk about those
1441,
options
which
now
the
when we
UN
have
Resolution
tried
1441, which said
what
that
would be a much more effective approach.
he had to give up his
Senator
nuclear
Clinton,
weapons, and he
what
never
would
did.
be your red line?
Well, first of all, we
Should
have
we
to
wait
trust
10 years?
diplomacy, and I
When
see
within 2 to 5 years they can have a
economic
nuclear weapon that can hit the
sanctions
east
as
coast of the United
use this
States?
with other very difficult situations like Libya, like
very
North
difficult,
Korea.
it's very
And I
complicated. I'm
think
sorry that us
what we're
simpletons
trying
do
to
not
do
grasp
here is
the
put pressure
vast,
on the Bush
complex,
administration. Joe's
complex
absolutely
ways
right.
in dealing with
George
a
Bush can do all
suicidal
of this
cult
without anybody.
that is
You
driven
know, that's the
to
great tragedy, and
destroy
that's why
the
we've
world.
got to rein
Sorry that
it
we
in,
don't
and that's why
understand
we
the
need
diplomatic
Republican
implications of
support
dealing with
in
this
the
enemy.
Congress
I'm
to
just
help
too
us do
simple.
so, and I invite
I just want
all
him
of our
dead.
colleagues to pass something
Sorry.
immediately that makes it very clear.
But if
He
you
has
kill
no
them, then you're gonna
authority,
drive them
and we will
underground.
not permit him to go take
Well,
offensive action against Iran.
okay.
But what we're trying to do is push forward on
Guess they can't do much damage on the ground,
diplomacy.
can
That
they?
has been lacking. I believe we should
Diplomacy.
be engaged in diplomacy right now with the Iranians.
We were engaged with the Iranians. They have tried to talk to somebody who goes, we don't have homosexuals, Israel doesn't deserve to exist, and our nuclear program is for energy
with an
sources only.
adversarial
It's
regime.
not used
You
for
need
weapons
both
at all.
carrots and sticks.
Yeah.
The Revolutionary Guard is deeply
Carrots and
involved in the
sticks.
commercial activities of Iran. Having those economic
Wow, you sound
sanctions
like a
hanging over
Republican.
their heads gives our negotiators one of the set of sticks that we need to
Negotiators.
try to make progress in dealing with a very complicated situation. Everybody agrees up
You are
here
not gonna
that
talk to the
President Bush has
Iranians.
made a total mess out of the situation with Iran. What we're trying to
Oh,
do
has he?
is to sort
Iran
our way
hasn't
through
made that
to try
mess.
to
We've
push
made this mess.
diplomacy with some carrots and some sticks
Carrots
into
and
the
some
mix
sticks.
and get the president to begin to do that.
You have no understanding of this enemy whatsoever if you think you can talk to them.
I'm
None
gonna start
whatsoever.
diplomacy. It
It scares me that you're a presidential candidate. You're thinking about becoming the president of the United States when you do not understand Ahmadinejad, the Islamic philosophy of radicalism,
rushing to war,
and
we
of
should
killing
not be doing
anyone
that.
who is an
We shouldn't be
infidel.
doing nothing, and that means we should
These
not
people will
let them
die
acquire
happy knowing that
nuclear
they're going to
weapons,
see
and the best way
their
to prevent that is a full
Lord,
court press on the
70
diplomatic
virgins.
front.
I've noted all of our candidates want in on
To
this.
quote Joe Rogan, you cannot believe
Thank you
the
very much.
power this has.
Well,
Somebody
I just
is willing to
listened
blow
what
himself
Senator
up
Clinton said, and she said she
for
wanted
the
to
very
maximize
highly
pressure
unlikely
on the Bush
possibility of
administration.
pussy
The way
in
to do
another
that
dimension.
is to vote yes
Thank you,
on
Joe
a
Rogan.
resolution that looks like it
A
was
bit
written
crass,
literally by the
but
neocons.
very true.
I mean, has anyone read this thing? I mean, it literally gave Bush and Cheney exactly what they wanted. It didn't just give them what they wanted. They acted on it. A few weeks later, they declared the Iranian Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization.
How dare they, John
And this is
Edwards?
gonna sound
We all know
very
that
familiar.
the Revolutionary
Remember
Guard is
from
an
Iraq?
upstanding military
They went into
organization.
Iraq, proliferators of
What is your
weapons
problem
of
with us
mass
calling the
destruction.
Revolutionary Guard a
The way
terrorist
you
organization
put
and terrorist
pressure on
sponsor?
this
That's exactly what they are. They are
administration
killing
is
our boys right now!
You say no. A lot of us on this stage have learned our lessons the hard way. That you give this president an inch, and he will take a mile. And this is about such an important
I want
issue.
him to go 10 miles!
We have to stand up to this president. We need to make it absolutely clear that we have no
We need to make it
intention
absolutely
of letting
clear.
Bush,
We will do
Cheney,
everything
or
we
this
can
administration
to lose the
invade
war.
Iraq.
And
Because
to
they
lose
have been rattling the saber over
against
and over
the
and
terrorists
over.
who threaten
And what
us,
this
be they in Iraq,
resolution
be they in
is,
Afghanistan,
written literally in the language
or be
of the
they in Iran.
neocons,
We
it is
must
enabling
lose this thing.
president to do
We
exactly
must
what he
run.
wants to do. He continues to march forward. He continues to say this is a terrorist organization. He continues
It is a
to
terrorist
say
organization.
These are proliferators of weapons of mass destruction.
They are proliferators of
How
weapons
in
of mass
the world
destruction.
Is that Democrats? We're not talking about Republicans now, Chris and Joe. Democrats standing up to this president and saying, no, we are not going to allow this.
we will
are
lose
not
this.
Going to allow this march to
We are
war.
not going to allow this march to war. We will not let you defend against the Iranians.
with Iran.
We're actually a bigger threat than Iraq.
Yes, I would. And I'm the only one on this stage that has actually negotiated
Again.
with a foreign country, with Iran.
Right.
And I want to just say to you that, in my judgment, we have to use diplomacy, and there is a red line. We cannot permit Iran to use nuclear weapons. And I do believe what you do is Ahmadinejad, it's very difficult to deal with them, but they're moderate elements in Iraq.
Really?
They're moderate
In Iran,
clerics,
you mean?
they're students, there's a business community.
There are
And I
students who are
believe that
being
we
beaten
can
on a
achieve
daily basis by the
compromise
religious
on the
police
nuclear
over there in
issue.
Iran.
In exchange
You
for
really need to look up
them
YouTube at what is going on in
having
Iran.
a
They are
nuclear
not
fuel
happy.
cycle, nuclear power. They don't develop nuclear weapons. Carrot and sticks.
Carrot and
Diplomatic
sticks.
initiatives, economic incentives. The
This is the
problem
great
is we
diplomatic
saber
idea,
rattle in
carrots
this
and
resolution
sticks.
in the Senate.
Carrots and
Saber
sticks.
rattles. I was UN ambassador.